Hello, Miss Hoa. I'm Phương, and today I will present the sensory marketing of chapter 3 and 4. Now we shall begin. So, Before we start our chapter 3 on sensory principles for vision, I would like to set a statement that have you ever bought something just because it looked good, even if you didn't need it? Yes, obviously, that's the power of vision in marketing. What you see doesn't just attract your attention, it shapes how you feel, how you think, and whether you reach for your wallet. Now, today we'll explore the chapter 3 sensory principles for vision, and by the end of this presentation, I will walk you through why visuals are most persuasive tools we have in marketing, especially in service contexts. Now, okay, so let's start with this. 70% of the sensory information we process comes through our eyes. That makes vision the most dominant of the five senses. Now, think about Instagram. It's built entirely around visuals, or H&M fashion ads in Sweden. Nearly 40% of women recall them visually, even weeks after seeing them. For a marketer, this means one thing, that if you want to be remembered, then be seen. We call this the visual consumptions. It's not just about seeing a brand, it's about experiencing it visually. And in today's marketplace, if your brand isn't visually engaging, it's invisible. Now, so so how exactly does vision work? Well, the eye is like a camera. Light enters through the pupil. It's focused by the lens and cornea, projected on the retina, and then the real magic happens. The brain interprets what we see. This process is called visual perception, and it's more than just sight, it's understanding. A really interesting concept here is gestalt psychology. It says our brain can take incomplete visual information and still make sense of it. It fills in the gaps. For example, when you see the broken circle, you still recognize it as a circle, right? That's your brain, and that's your brain at work. And here's the takeaway for marketing. If it's partial visuals like the logo, a shape, or a color, can trigger full brand recognition. For example, like Nike or WWF. Now, vision doesn't only process images, it triggers emotion. Studies in 1960s have shown that visual ads are far more memorable than text-based ones. Why? Because they connect with us emotionally. Let's take an example. Coca-Cola Christmas ads. The snow, the red truck, the Santa Claus, that's not just a product, that's nostalgia. And once emotion is involved, you've already got a customer halfway convinced. Positive emotions like joy, love, and warmth led to what we call the positive balance, making people more likely to buy. But negative emotions like fear or shame, well, those can work too, just in different contexts like public service announcements. Now, what we see and how we feel about it also depends on culture. For example, in studies between Americans and Chinese participants or Vietnamese participants, Americans tend to focus on the main object in an image, and Vietnamese participants focus more on the background and context. Even color means different things in different culture, and red in the West often signals danger, while in Vietnam or the East it means good luck and celebration. And then there's the symbolism. Think about a product you buy, a phone, a bag, even a drink. A lot of time we just don't. don't just buy function, we buy symbols of success, of youth or health, or of the status. So marketers need to ask, what does my product look like? And what does it say to people who see it? Now, let's shift now to service environments, retail stores, restaurants, hotels. What role vision play here? Think of SOR model, stimulus, organism, and response. Visual stimuli like lighting, color, and layout influence our emotional state. That emotional state then drives your behavior. Do you stay, browse, buy, or walk out? Let's go deeper into some of these factors. High ceilings, for instance, are associated with freedom and creativity. That's why luxury stores like Apple stores feel so open. Wall shapes can also influence the perception. Curved walls tend to feel more feminine, while straight lines feel more masculine. And don't forget the threshold area, the first few steps inside the store. If the lighting and design aren't appealing here, customers might turn right back around. Now, one of the most powerful tools we have, color. Quick word association. Red, passion, energy, or danger. Then blue would be with trust or calm. Green with nature or money. And black with luxury. In one study, shoppers spent more time in stores with blue lighting because it felt calming, and more time means more purchases. So never underestimate the influence of a well chosen color palette. Okay, about lighting. Lighting can either enhance a store or kill it. Dim lighting makes people feel more intimate and dreamlike, good for fashion or restaurants. Bright lighting increases alertness but can reduce the creativity. Even food choices are affected. In dim lighting, people tend to pick less healthy options. Yes, light changes what we eat. Also, the materials used in interiors matter too. Wood would suggest the warmth, sustainability, and authenticity. Plastic, while not so much. Retailers must pay attention to surfaces, colors, displays, everything visual communicates a message. Now, let's move on with the visual branding. So, visual identity equals a perception. With Apple's logo, Absolute Vodka's bottle, or BMW grill, all are designed for impact. Let's break down the key visual branding tools. Now, first is advertisement. When advertisement can create emotions from joy to disgust. Emotional triggers would be a combination of memory, attitude, and behavior. But remember, aren't always persuasive. Viewers must feel something relevant. About color and branding, colors also equals identity. For example, packaging with red would attract the attention. Blue would be the trust and quality, and black would be the elegance and mystery, like Chanel. About the design and logos and names. Design would be a combination of aesthetics and function. A well designed product is loved, not just used. Also, logos are served as the mental shortcuts. Think of Starbucks siren, Apple's apple, and the Mercedes star. Names also matter. It should be short, easy, and relevant. For example, like Nike, Jab, and high involvement products like BMW or Samsung may have more abstract name. About the packaging, packaging is our silent salesman because it communicates the color, texture, shape, logo, and information. So cute packaging also increase the taste in it, but would reduce in the perception of healthiness. Also, the layered packaging from outer to intermediate and inner would affect the perception during the purchase and consumption. Now, to demonstrate what we have gone through, we'll have a case study of Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret built its brand around the names of the mix of elegance, Victoria, the evoking Queen Victoria, and sensuality of Secret. And its visual identity relied on pink and black color scheme, dim romantic lighting, boudoir style interiors, and glamorous angels models to create an aspirational, intimate shopping experience. While this strong visual branding drove the global recognition, it later faced the backlash of promoting narrow beauty ideals and lacking diversity, leading to the end of its annual fashion show in 2019. Now, enough of vision. What about we talk more about sound? Now, think about your own day. The moment you wake up, sound is there. Your alarm, the ringtone of your phone, the music you play while getting ready. And if you're like me, sometimes the music is the only thing that gets you moving in the morning. And companies knows this. They integrate sound into every customer touchpoint from the in-store playlist to the tone of voice in the commercial. Because sound can make us feel emotionally instantly, and emotions drive loyalty. Now, our journey begins with the human ears. We start hearing sounds before we've even born. The mother's heartbeat is our first soundtrack. After birth, we grow up surrounded by the sound, like I have said before, the jingle from the morning radio ad, voices in the shop, music in the supermarket. Brands like BMW or Hollister even create a playlist so customers associate their products with certain feelings. Why? Because sound influences not just what we hear, but what we feel about an experience. Now, there are main types of sound in marketing: ambient sounds like birdsong or rain, voices from customer service reps to celebrity endorsements, or music, which is especially powerful at shaping emotions. When we hear a melody, the right side of your brain soars the rhythm and rhymes. That's why jingles like "I'm loving it" stay in our heads for years. We measure sound in decibels. A normal conversation is around 60, a rock concert around 100. But it's not just the volume that matters, it's how the sound make us feel. Music is deeply emotional. It can make us feel joy, sadness, nostalgia, sometimes all at once. It can it has three dimensions: the sound itself, the behaviors it inspires, and the cultural concepts it carries. Think of the movie and soundtrack. A tense violin score can make us grip our seats, even if nothing scary is happening on the screen. There are two main theories: cognitive, when we interpret the meaning of music without necessarily feeling it, or emotional, with music directly changes our emotions. Research shows both happen when our bodies respond physically with things like chills, faster heart rates, or even tears. Now, auditory perception is simply how we interpret the sound stimuli from the environment. It's essentially for it's essential for communication but also for branding. For example, the horn of a car is both a safety feature and a brand sound for some companies. Music preferences also vary. When classical music often signals sophistication, hard rock or rap can express the toughness and rebellion. When gender and personality shape these preferences, men often lean toward hard sounds and women toward soft sounds, though this is changing. In groups, music becomes a shared emotion. emotional experience from Swedish midsummer dances to Polynesian religious songs. Then there's sound symbolism, the idea that certain sounds carry meaning. For example, in one study, people thought the imagi- imaginary ice cream brand Frosh sounded creamier and richer than Frisch. This that's just from the sound of the word before tasting anything. Now let's talk retail. Music in stores is more than decoration. It changes how we shop. Calm, slow music can make people stay longer and buy more. Fast music can energize people but might make them move through the store quickly. Abercrombie and Fitch famously plays loud, fast music to create a youthful, high energy atmosphere for its younger target audience. And shopping experience studies shows that slow music in restaurants also makes customers stay longer and order more drinks, while playing French music in the wine store increases the French wine sales. German music boosts the German wine sales, and lounge music in a supermarket coffee aisle increase the customer satisfaction by 20 to 30%. It's not just about what we hear, but what we associate with it. Music also changes the perception of service when background music can make waiting times feel shorter and queuing less frustrating. Music congruence when the music matches the environment boosts the satisfaction. And yes, music can even be used to keep people away. In Australia, McDonald's played opera outside the store to stop teenagers from loitering. In London, classical music in subway stations reduced the vandalism and theft. Alright, brands also use sound to define their identity. Some sounds are natural, like a pop of champagne cork. Others are creative, like jingles or sound logos. McDonald's I'm loving it campaign with Justin Timberlake is a perfect example of how music can be the voice of brand worldwide. In advertising, music can instantly set the mood. Fast music grabs attention, slow music can create intimacy. If the music fits the ad's message, people are more likely to remember it and feel positively about the brand. Even background music during product evaluation matters. People often prefer items paired with the music they like. Music embodiment means that music gets into our memories and emotions, like a childhood song can transport you back decades. Voice is equally important. Low tones sound more credible, and faster speech can make a speaker seem smarter and more persuasive, though slower speech can make a message easier to process. The right tone and rates need to match the brand's personality. Audio brandings also use consistent sounds to represent a brand, from jingles to sound icons to corporate anthems. Coca-Cola's bottle cap bob, Intel's five-note chime, or Nike swoosh sound all create instant brand recognition. Now, to wrap up, we will have a case study of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola, music isn't just part of the campaign, it is the campaign. From the 1970s, I'd like to buy the world a Coke, to the 2009 Open Happiness Global Campaign and the 2017 Taste the Feeling with Avicii, music has been the emotional language of the brand. Their audio signature, the five notes melody plus the cap pop and fizz, is instantly recognizable worldwide. And that is also the end of our topic today. Cover the vision and the sensory principle of vision and sound. Once again, thank you for your listening.